Hey everyone, today I want to do a little review of the Day Designer Boutique Collection. Boutique, I don't know. I feel like I'm saying the same thing. Anyway, I went to Staples and I'm looking at some of the videos I got. They had such a beautiful collection and I had never seen this before, but I got on the Day Designer site and they had launched these a month ago. And this collection is so interesting. I was going to do a video of everything I found at Staples and I was like, no, this planner deserves its own video because it is so unique. If you are a person that's thinking, I need to get my life in order and I need a planner, but I also want something that's going to give me those reflection questions, those activities, this is absolutely the planner for you. They're at a really good price point. I mean, up to $25, $30, but they're not anything outrageous. They can be purchased at Staples, you can get them online, but they are just so unique in the blend of daily planning, it's your daily planner, as well as the reflection, the vision board. There's a vision board in there, which is super interesting. So I just want to show you. But if you look here, they have weeklies, they have monthlies, they have 3 different sizes, a small, medium, and large. And all of these planners have all of those activities in it. Now the small obviously has less space than the bigger ones, but it could still work, especially if you're somebody who wants one of those planners that you throw in your purse and you go. All right, so this is the large planner and it is a weekly monthly. It starts in July and it goes through June. And you can see here how it compares to the medium. So they're the exact same planner. The medium is just a little smaller. And you open it up and the first thing you have is a vision board. Create a collage of images, sketches, words, quotes, and phrases that reflect your aspirations for the year ahead. And then there's some stickers next to it. So I like that. Now, I have never been a vision board person per se, but maybe that's because I've never really sat down and done one. And I think if you are trying to figure out next steps, what do you want to do in your personal life, your career, your wellness, your just like all those categories of life, this could be a good starting off point. I feel like sometimes when you create a vision board, or I imagine this is how it would be, like I said, I'm not a super vision board person, but that would be a good exercise for me. I feel like the area that you want to focus on jumps out right away. So I like that. Now, the other thing I like is that when you flip the page, you get a little pocket, right? We love a pocket in our planner. And then there's a second vision board. I think that's really interesting. So this one says, add to this, whenever you feel inspired, it will truly become a reflection of you and an amazing year. And what I like about that is sometimes we do these reflection projects in January or at the start of a new school year or mid-year or around our birthdays at that one point, and then we kind of stop. We don't ask ourselves, what do I want to add to this? You know, what else could I, focus on? And I think that's important to do throughout the year, not just once, because I do feel like things change with the seasons, like not just metaphorically, but actually with the seasons, right? So maybe it's summer and here in Florida, it is super hot. It's so miserable. I don't want to go outside. And that is a season where I'm like, oh, this is the time of year to do a lot of indoor cleaning, some house projects, painting, redo my closet, those types of things. And I realize that that's what I want to focus on because of the season. But if I sit down to make a vision board or a plan in January, that might not jump out at me. So that's just an example, but working on this, any of these activities throughout the year periodically, I think is beneficial because it allows you to see what you're focused on in a particular moment. So I think that's really helpful. After the vision board, you get the year in view. So you get the 2026 and the 2027 at a glance calendars, as well as a list of holidays for all of 2026 and 2027. Then you get that intro Day Designer message, as well as the section breakdown of how to use the planner. So it's like the vision board. Create a collage of images, sketches, words, quotes, and phrases, and it tells you how to make a vision board. But there are also some other activities in here, which I'll get to in a moment, and this just goes through each of those activities. You certainly don't have to do all of them, but it's nice that they're included. So the first one here is the personal check-in. Self-awareness is the start of positive change. By uncovering what uplifts you and where you feel stuck, you can overcome challenges, boost productivity, and focus on what truly brings you joy and satisfaction. So I think that this is good because there are so many categories here. Then there are 4 open spaces at the bottom, so you can add what you want and you rank them from very important all the way to completely irrelevant. And I think that that can be good because, if you are For example, rating travel or leisure. Leisure and travel, for example, very important, and clothing is neutral or not important. When you go to focus on your budget, if you're spending a lot of money on clothes, you're thinking like, well, maybe actually now that I've done this personal check-in, that's really not aligned for what is most important to me. So just sitting down and looking at these categories of your personal check-in and how you feel you would rank them can give you some of that really good insight. On the next page, there is the more or less worksheet. Similar to a bucket list, the more or less list is a quick and simple way to identify how to prioritize what you enjoy. For example, cozy mornings, ice cream hikes, and what to avoid. Stress, unhealthy takeout, being late. Again, this is an activity that I feel needs to be done throughout the year. You could sit down and say, I'm going to do this activity, and you might remember to put, I hate when I'm running late. It stresses me out. But it also might take you running late in the morning to be like, oh, I really hate this. And it's stressing me out to be like, I need to put that on the list of less. So I think that this is a good one to start and to go back to. You can always add notes in your phone or email yourself to add them to the planner when you get back so that you can have that time and you don't forget things. It's really easy to remember in the moment, but to forget after. On the next page, there are the year ahead annual goals. So it gives you different categories, for example, career, home, health, etc. There are a lot. It has you write a goal. It encourages you to make a really specific one, right? So for example, walk in a 5K is better than walk more. Monthly actions. So there are a few actions that you can list to help you get there, along with a column for weekly routines. What are a few specific actions you can take each week to help you reach your goal? And then there is a daily action, same thing. What can you do daily? And then lastly, what are your roadblocks? So that is really a helpful way to identify not only what you want to do, but how you're going to get there. So that's great. After the annual goal page, there is the annual budget. The only thing that I will say about this is that I feel like budgets, when you take into consideration your checking account, your family checking account, how you and your partner, if you have one, split things up or combine things, you've got different retirement accounts, you've got credit cards, you've got, whatever. Maybe you have student loans or car payment. There's so many different things. It can be really complicated, I think, to try to get it on a piece of paper, on one little piece of paper. So I'm not sure that I would use this, and I think that the spreadsheet that I have really works a lot better, but I think that this could be beneficial if you want to use it, or you could repurpose this. I could see myself using this it's got columns for each month, so I could see myself, repurposing this for spending, splurges, shopping. So at the end of the year, I could really look back and say, how much of this was necessary? How much of this was completely unnecessary? What do I want to improve on for next year? So I think this is the only one that I probably wouldn't use, or I wouldn't use as intended, but it could work for you, so that's an option. Then we go into the monthly. So here is July. You've got the top 3 to do and monthly actions on the left, along with the month before and the month after. And then you just have a Sunday to Saturday calendar with lines. I usually am not a fan of the lines, but these are fine. It's not too overwhelming and distracting, so you have plenty of space to write. And then you get into your weekly. The weekly, again, I love a weekly that has the days on one side and some other categories on the other. So on the left, you have Monday through Friday. Each has a block with about 5 lines and a to-day list, so those could be 5 tasks you need to complete on that day. And then Saturday and Sunday share a space, so they don't have the to-do list on there, and that may or may not be a deal breaker for you. I always say that because some people work weekends and you need a little bit more space to write. So just want to throw that out there. But then on the right side, you get some other categories. So at the bottom, you get a really long to-do list and a really big notes section, which I love. Above that is a habit tracker and a top 3. A space to write your weekly motivation, what you're grateful for, and to do some reflection. There are 2 prompts, my biggest wins of the week and what can I do better next week, and there is a quote on the top. So this is a really lovely layout. This is a great planner, and I don't know, I love this. I love the weekly layout. I think it looks really nice. Now, I had mentioned a moment ago that there's a small, medium, and a large. On the small planner, for example, I don't think that there are 5 lines per day. It might be 2 just because it's so much smaller, but it still has that same very similar layout. The other thing that they have is this blue weekly, monthly. It's the same, again, same layout, but it is not a coil. And when you look at it, you can see here that it's got the same weekly, it's got the monthly, it just doesn't have the tabs. Now, the last thing that I want to say is that each month comes with a reflection page in the back. So you can see here, there is a space for your reflections. You can review your goals, your challenges, still working on, and there again are prompts. I surprised myself, a favorite memory. So if you're a person that likes to keep your planner, this could be something that is really nice to look back, 10, 20 years in the future. I do intend on keeping my planners. I will sometimes open an old one and be like, oh, this is where I was working on that day, or this is what I did, or I had dinner with these friends, or whatever it was. So I like that. And then the reflection is on the left side, and then the right side has the intentions for the next month. So your motivation for the month, the affirmation of the month, what you want to focus on goal-wise, upcoming challenges, what you want to finish, something new to try, all of that. And there are a few notes pages in the back. So all in all, I think that this is a really pretty planner. Right here you can see, like I said, the floral with the large and the medium, the small red, the blue that is that book bound, and then the one on the right, all the way to the right, that floral blue one is just a monthly. So it doesn't have the weekly layout, but it does have all of the exercises and all of the things I just talked about in there. So anyway, I think this is a really, really cool planner. I have always loved Day Designer. I feel like whenever I go see Day Designer planners, they're pretty much the same year after year, which is a good thing. They are consistent and good quality, but I really like the reflection piece that this new design has added into it. And I think it could be really good if it's something that you will use and if it's something you're looking for. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you are gonna get one of these planners, let me know, leave me a comment, or let me know if you already have one. They run July to June, so you could start using it very soon, which is of course exciting. It's always nice to get into a new planner. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.